Hey guys, welcome back to Lessons with Parker and Sawyer. I'm Parker.
And I'm Sawyer.
And today we're going over our impulse and control and problem solving unit. This is lesson 2, resisting the impulse to lie. So in today's lesson we will learn how to resist the impulse to lie. So the objectives are to identify the consequences of lying, identifying benefits of telling the truth, and using a problem solving strategy. So in the picture we have Gina, Margaret, and Tina. Margaret always talks about how she is the best at everything. Gina doesn't like her bragging, but Margaret impresses Gina's friend Tina. When Margaret asks what Gina's father does, Gina feels like lying and saying that he is a brain surgeon. What is the problem?
Margaret's bragging bothers Gina, and so Gina feels like she should tell a white lie.
Why might Gina feel like she's lying about her father?
She just wants to compete with Margaret.
What might happen if Gina lied about her father?
The other kids might not believe her, or she might even feel bad about herself.
When we know someone is not telling the truth, we may not trust him or her anymore. This is one result or consequence of lying. What is trust?
What we feel when we're sure that someone is telling the truth, and we can depend on that person.
If Gina lies, we might lose her trust in her.
Her friends and even herself.
So what are the benefits of telling the truth?
Her friends will know they can trust her, and she won't have anything to hide from them.
So what are some possible solutions you think to Gina's problem?
Well, like she wanted to, she could lie about her problem. She could ignore Margaret or tell Margaret how she feels about her bragging.
So what might happen if she lies about her father?
Well, we already went over that. She could lose trust in herself. Her friends could lose trust in her, and she can even lose those friends.
Gina decides to tell Margaret about how she feels about her bragging. She makes sure she's calm. She makes sure she's calm first, though, just to avoid any hostile interactions between them. So what words could Gina use to tell Margaret how she feels?
She could be like, Margaret, it really bothers me when you brag. Can you, you don't have to do that. You just be yourself.
How should she say them?
A very friendly tone or just straightforward, either word.
When would be the best place to tell her this?
When they're alone, one-on-one, when there's not a crowd of people.
So, remember, there's some steps for resisting the impulse to lie. So, there's 2 steps. 1, you have to think about the consequences of lying, and 2, to tell the truth. So, I'm going to ask you a couple things, and let's see how you do.
All right.
So, let's say your mom asked you how much TV you watched today.
Okay.
You already watched the amount that you're allowed to, but your favorite show's on.
Well, like everyone, I'll have a little urge to lie, but then I'll think about if I lie, I could lose the trust between me and my mom, and I could feel bad about myself, feel guilt for lying to her. And then I'll think about the consequences of telling the truth, and they're mostly positive. I won't get to watch my show, but the trust will still be there, and I won't feel guilty about lying.
And so even if you might lie and she finds out, you could even receive less time watching TV than normal. So, your sister's really mad at you and asked you if you wore her new blouse. You did it without permission.
Well, I'll feel the urge to lie a little bit, just because like that's what the lesson plan's about. And then I'll tell her, I'll think about the consequences. I'll be like, well, she would know I'm lying because I stretched out her blouse, and she'll just, I'll lose the trust in between us. And if, like, let's say I need a phone charger or something from her, she wouldn't let me use it because I already used her blouse with her permission. And then I'll think about the benefits of telling the truth, and I'll be like, that'll keep our trust. She'll let me use things in the future if I ask, and so on. So I'll just tell her the truth.
So your dad asked you wherever you've been. You were supposed to stay in the yard, but you didn't.
Once again, just like the other 2, I'll feel an urge to lie a little bit, but I won't, because I'll think over the consequences. We could lose the trust in between each other, or he can punish me. I could be grounded, and I won't even be allowed outside at that point. So then I'll think about the benefits of telling the truth. If I tell him, yeah, I left the yard, I apologize, he will still be mad, but he can be more forgiving about the situation, and the trust will still be there.
So we learned that our behaviors have consequences. Sometimes they're negative and sometimes they're positives. Today we learned about resisting the impulse to lie, and by telling the truth is a way of being responsible for our actions. Telling the truth helps build people's trust in us. So, you identify the consequences of lying. You can lose trust and lose relationships and stuff like that. Identifying benefits of telling the truth. You may get in trouble, but you're always going to have that trust with between your peers, friends, parents, and so on, along with yourself. And then we also learned about the 2 steps, which is thinking about the consequences of lying and telling the truth. So this has been our lesson of resisting the impulse to lie. I'm Parker.
And I'm Sawyer.
And we hope to see you next time.